Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Drinks and Discussions alongside Marcus. I'm Brian, and we'll be your host this evening. We are coming to you live on the corner of Custer in Virginia at Uncorked. We're also streaming to you live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So if you're nearby, come by. We've got a lot to discuss this evening. We've got our resident bartender, Danny, serving up some great cocktails. And if you are watching online, please don't forget to put something in the comments so we can make sure you're a part of the discussion and give us a like. And as always, we appreciate you joining Drinks and Discussions. Marcus, what's going on, buddy? How are you today?
Yes, sir. I am good.
Good to
Happy,
hear.
happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you, sir. Everything good? It's only Tuesday, man, but I swear it feels like it's like a Thursday, Wednesday or a Thursday.
Yes, it feels like we should be up on Friday by now.
hmm Yes, sir. Which is a good
Yeah.
thing. I mean, I don't mind that it's like that, but is today Thursday? And I'm like, she's like, no, it's only like Monday or Tuesday. I'm like, jeez, Christ, that's been a long, long day. I'm gonna change some things here real quick just to make sure that we don't lose any, get choppy or anything like that. I want to make sure I'll put our
Okay.
network cable in here today. So I don't want anybody to freeze while watching. Hello, Liz. It feels like a Monday to her as well. And the only thing that really gets me on Tuesdays, it reminds me of how I realize that it's Tuesday is we always do like a Mexican food taco Tuesday every Tuesday. So when dinner time comes, I realize it's Tuesday because of what we're gonna have for dinner.
Mm, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Hello,
Taco Tuesday is big business.
it is. Hello, silly wabbit. Welcome
Big.
to the show. We got a lot of viewers. I want to always start our podcast. I want to just make sure that I am saying hello to my stalker, Mr. Ken. I know he's watching in the background. Probably won't say anything, but I want to say hello to him. But before, in all seriousness, I want to just thank him also. He provided tickets to the Byron Nelson this past weekend, which was great. We
Mm,
had club level seats or in a tent that we were able to go in and get all the food and drinks that we could drink and eat. It was a great day. We spent probably about, I want to say 5, 6 hours out there at the Byron.
oh, wow. Which day did you go again? Was Friday or Saturday?
We went Friday
Mm,
and it was hot. Let me tell
okay.
you, it was really, really hot.
Yeah,
Ano-
they picked a good weekend to do it. That's for sure.
Hello, C. Allen. Welcome to the podcast. Good to see you or good to hear from you again. I do want to talk to you, C. Allen, because I know you posted something and then you retracted it, and I kind of want you to tell me what it was. It was about something, but I believe it actually, um, I thought it was something that was um, good and maybe we could like discuss over on the podcast, but it was removed, and or maybe I just didn't see it for a while. But I think you might have removed it. But I want to know what it was. But you can talk to me after the fact as well. I'm gonna turn around and get my drink, but and let's go ahead, Marcus. While I'm doing that, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what you're drinking on today?
All right. This may come as a surprise, but I'm gonna be drinking Mountain Dew Zero. So, to all you viewers out there, this is my guilty pleasure drink of choice.
I got a funny story. I'm gonna tell you, and I'm glad that C. Allen and Liz are on here too. Um, uh,
I know, it's gonna kill me. I get it, I get it. It's gonna, but that's all right.
and by the way, Liz, I don't mind telling anybody where I live because that other idiot keeps thinking that I'm somewhere else. So I'm actually in north of Dallas, in Texas, and it is hot already. It's like the heat index is actually off the charts, and like it's in the upper 90s, but it's pretty oppressive heat right now.
So she wants
It's
to.
that time. It's that time of year. So
Hmm.
I got a story before I tell you what I'm drinking. And all the guys that are Liz and C. Allen and Silly Wabbit, there was a podcast that I was on. I wasn't on it, but I was watching it, and there was a guy. Who's the big guy, Liz and C. Allen, that's on Dave's live stream now. He's the bigger guy with all the tattoos and stuff. I forget his name. But he was drinking a Mountain Dew, and um, it was the Mountain Dew with the alcohol in it. So
Oh,
when he would start talking about it, people were like, "Oh, you got to mix that Mountain Dew with like some vodka." Yeah, Big Jake, is his name. I wish if anybody knows his contact, I keep trying to figure out what his email contact is to get him on the show. He was on the one night that we didn't have Megan, and we were going to talk about abortions, but I haven't seen him since, and I don't have it. Oh, it's the Mountain Dew,
I'm trying to think here. Let me see if I can.
Mountain Dew Blast or Mountain Dew something. I forget what it was.
Let's see here. I think it's hard Mountain Dew. I think that's what it's called. Or
Hard Mountain
Mountain Dew
Dew.
hard. Yeah, hard Mountain Dew.
hmm There's a joke on that saying, but I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna leave that joke on the table. I'm not gonna say a word.
Or Mountain Dew hard seltzer. Yeah, that's what it's called, I think.
Uh, I'm looking at Liz talking about her PTO and how they max out, so you can't accrue anymore PTO hours. I know all about that. Well, there's certain amounts that we can carry over at the end of the year, but we have to use so many or we'll lose them. You can only accrue so many hours until the next year. So use your PTO
Yeah.
if you got them, use them. Don't let them just go to waste.
Yeah, it
Um,
sucks for me because I started a new job back in January, so
mhm,
I got very little PTO accrued right now.
yeah.
Dang.
But they should give you though is PTO and sick days all wrapped into one.
Most places,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
or at
how
least
it
that's
is.
been my experience.
Yeah. All right. So tonight, folks, I just opened up this bottle of Wolford Reserve. This is a whiskey bourbon,
Oh, Woodford.
and I love it. It is probably one of my favorite bourbons out there. And there are different brands of it. You can get the rye, you can get the reserve. I think there's a different one, another one, but this one is just a straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey, and I love it. That's what I'm going to be sipping on throughout the duration of our podcast. And I'm
You
assuming.
know, what?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say how Woodford Reserve is actually a big time sponsor of one of the local radio stations here in town.
That they did that. Who was the distiller of this? Is it Diageo? No, it's Woodford Reserve Distillery. Oh, I don't know who is actually
Yep.
the distributor. I don't know who this distributor is for this one. I don't know. But anyway, this is a really good one. If you haven't tried it, go out and get a little taste. It's actually really good. It's probably about $40, $50 bottle. So it's pretty nice. It goes down
Can
pretty
you
smooth.
can you can you get it at can you get it from Costco or do you have to go to an actual liquor store?
Liquor store. I've heard there are different Costco's that sell alcohol like liquor in their
Yes.
Costco, but the one over here by me, it only sells beer and wine. It doesn't sell liquor.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, the one over here near or down the street from where I am,
hmm
they have a some of the Costco space.
hmm And Liz, it's actually it's a bourbon. Yeah, she said that's a lot of $50 is a lot of lattes. Yes. All right, brother. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone out there watching. We appreciate you guys. But just real quick, so we went to the Byron, and it was hot, man, hot, hot, hot. And the place that the tent that we were in, I didn't even know that this was going to happen. But usually, when I've gone to the Byron Nelson and had a tent, they have servers that came to where we were sitting out there on the terrace, and they would come in and ask us if we needed anything. So we really, once we got our food and sat down on Facebook, I forgot the guy's name, but there's a picture of a golfer right in front of us, and he's looking at us and he's laughing. And he's laughing at me because I said something to the effect of, um, is it? Do I
Get in the
need?
hole
No,
or
no. It was like, do I need your permission to take your picture? You guys going to charge me, or is it going to have like? Are you guys going to? So let me sign something. And I was like, oh, okay. And so everybody was funny.
did he really sign it? Sign something?
No, he was just joking.
Oh, he's just being funny.
Yeah. So, see, Alan, if I'm cutting in and out, please let me know if it's better. I got a new microphone. I want to make sure that it is working the way it's supposed to work. Am I cutting out to you? I'm not cutting out to you, Marcus, am I?
No, no, you sound pretty good to me.
Okay. You know what, Elizabeth or Liz? I used to be a big Jack and Coke drinker back before I acquired a taste for my my hard stuff. Um, you know what? But anyway, I'm looking at the chats, and sometimes I get off kilter here. But after I started acquiring a taste, because I used to work for Diageo, which is a liquor distributor here, and they would give us these tastings. So we would go every Friday or every other Friday, and they would tell us about some of the things that they were distributing and some of the brands. So it was wines. I was starting to get an acquired taste for wines, and then there was the bourbons, and there was some notes of flavors that are involved in bourbons and whiskeys. So it's just been one of those things. Hey Bart, good to see you, buddy. Welcome to Marcus and I are more than happy to get you guys on here. As you can tell, we just sit out here and just whatever comes to our mind, we just start talking about it. We do have a pregame meeting where we talk about have some topics that we'd like to talk about, but I'm hoping that this is okay. So they're saying that our feed is freezing. So hang on a second here again.
And
I want to make sure that
I
I'm
was
not
just
using Wi-Fi.
I had it pulled up too, and I got kicked out. But I don't know if it was more on my end or if it had anything to do with the stream.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to change. I'm gonna take it off of Wi-Fi and see what happens. I hope I don't lose everybody. If I lose everybody, Bluetooth, or excuse me, my Wi-Fi. Okay, okay. It looks like we're good. Okay, guys, if you're still with us, I turned off my Wi-Fi. We've actually been having some Wi-Fi problems all day today, and I'm going directly into um, I plugged in a network cable, so we shouldn't have any more freezing. So I'm watching it on my side stream here to kind of keep abreast of it, but we're going to see if that no Wi-Fi is going to make it better for everyone. So again, if you guys are on here and you want to join, please let us know. We are on Discord. That's how we use what we use in order to do the videos, but we can walk you through, set it up if you would like to join. Thanks again for staying with us throughout that little technical difficulty. And Bart, I want to make sure you knew we saw you out here, and we appreciate you joining as well. Are we still looking good over there, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm so far so good on my end. Yep.
Cool,
Yep.
cool, cool. Yeah, Liz, there are some wet and dry areas here in Texas. The areas that I'm in right now, where I live currently, is a dry area. Well, dry meaning beer and wine only. And then there's a wet area that's probably just two streets over that just became wet, and there and it's where you can sell hard liquor. So I used to have to go some like 15 miles away just to get it, and it was kind of like, man, why do I want to keep going out here for all that stuff? That's why I was drinking a lot of beer. But now that it's close by, I can kind of keep my stash pretty stocked up, so I don't have to worry about running around.
Growing up, you know, in Richardson,
Hmm.
it was dry. I
Hmm.
never saw beer or wine or alcohol in the grocery store or anything like that. And then when I went off to school, first time I walked in the grocery store and I see beer and wine and liquor everywhere, I was like, going on?
Hmm. Right.
I'd never seen that before.
So we went. I remember because my dad drank Jack Daniels was his big thing. The Colony was the only
Yep.
place that you could buy liquor when I was growing up. And remember when the Colony was seems like you had to pack an overnight bag. It was so far and down this long road right before 121 was expanded and all this stuff. It was just really
Hmm.
um, See, it doesn't seem like that long ago in my memory, but man, that's ages ago that the Colony was the only place you could buy booze back then. Crazy. Man, I'm so
That is
glad.
crazy.
I'm so glad there are a lot of people who drink now. Thank you, people. Go vote. Get the vote out.
Right.
Get the vote out, man. So we're gonna go and
Oh man.
we're gonna bore you guys for a few seconds here, if you will, allow me, because our Dallas Mavericks put on a show that no one,
Whoop, whoop.
including Marcus didn't even know, because I'm sitting here texting him throughout the show, and I'm like, I'm getting
I did.
hyped, and he goes, I'm not getting hyped yet. I want to, but the Dallas Mavericks beat the Phoenix Suns so bad, it was just crazy. It was crazy. Elizabeth, I'm going to talk to you about that and that your comment right in a few minutes. I'm going to talk about this Maverick thing, but I will get on that JW comment a little bit later. So stay tuned for that. Let's just get this Mavericks going to the Western Conference Finals out of the way.
Yeah.
What- I'm still shell shocked at how it was just a beatdown.
I mean, it was. I mean, I don't think there's any way. I don't think any. I don't think there's any way you can describe it and it do it justice. What happened? I just. I'm
Yes,
still in shock.
Liz, it is basketball. It's the NBA, and they're in the playoffs right now. And so the winner of the next 7 games, the best of 7, goes into the NBA Finals. So the Mavericks, which is our home team, just beat
Four, four, 4 wins away.
they beat the last year's Western Conference champions. And they were not favorite to win. So out of the best out of 7, they won the game 7, and it was a really good, shocking shellacking, if you will, of the Mavericks.
Man, and that was 2 games in a row. We just put a whooping on them like that.
Cheers to you, Bart. I love Basil Hayden. Basil Hayden is also on my list of favorite things to drink as well. So cheers to you, buddy. Liz said that she lost her basketball team out
They
there.
lost.
Yeah, they
They're,
are
they're,
the
they're
Oklahoma.
known as the Thunder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oklahoma City Thunder now. You know, when you hear Ice Cube's "Today was a good day," when they say the Lakers beat the Supersonics, you can't say that anymore.
Oh
You
yeah.
gotta say something different. Everybody's like, "What the heck is a supersonic?" Supersonics. Is that JJ Fad?
JJ
My,
Fad
my,
and
wi- my wife would probably
yeah.
know the words to that song entirely. Supersonic. Yeah, it was
Maybe.
OKC. Seriously, Liz, they are in Oklahoma.
Yep. Yep. Oklahoma City Thunder, formerly known as Seattle Supersonics. So maybe Liz can tell us what is a supersonic.
Yeah,
But
what is yeah, and Silly Wabbit, I've already sent a message to Megan, and um I sent messages out to her. I sent her a text message. I just haven't heard back from her. She says that after our last program, our live,
uh,
she said that she would be honored to be a host moving forward, but she works and late sometimes, and so coming home after working late, getting dinner and relaxing. Sometimes you just feel up to it. Sometimes you don't. So she knows she has the open invitation to always be here, and she knows how to get in here from the backside. So she's available if she's available. Oh my God! I told you my wife would know all the words to that song. She up here rapping the same supersonic. S is for super. The U is for unique. And I don't know the rest of it, but I knew she was. And
uh, uh,
see, Alan, I sent a message to Nick also to see if he would join as well. He was online, but I reached out to him and let him know that we're going to be going live here as well. We also may have one of our former co-hosts, formerly known as Primus Pro, now known as Zeus, may join us to this podcast as well as we get into some of the other topics. But again, the beatdown was unexpected. They put a 40. They were up almost 50 points, folks, over the Phoenix Suns. And the Phoenix Suns, you remember, listen, I hate to tell you this, but Stephen A. Smith once upon a time said that Devin Booker was the next up and coming of Kobe Bryant. And I'm sorry to tell you, I don't see it. You know who's better than Devin Booker to me?
Who's that?
The guy from the 20-year-old I just lost his name, at Boston.
Oh, Tatum.
Yes.
No,
Tatum's a
Jason
bad
Tatum.
boy. Jason Tatum is a bad boy.
You know, I need to start watching it. I know they're playing tonight, but I need to pay more attention to because I've never I hear people talking about Jason Tatum and
Hmm.
he's an all-star, but I've never really paid attention to his game, so I don't know much about him. And yeah, I just don't know much about
Have you
him.
not been watching that series?
The Milwaukee Boston series. No, I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
watch
yeah,
any of
yeah,
it.
yeah. I think somebody's getting ready to join us here. Hold on one second. Sade. Let me. Hey, yep, Megan's going to be joining us here.
And Elizabeth answered our question. Supersonic was a Boeing airplane that never got past development. It was supposed to compete with the French version of the only SS commercial AC aircraft ever built. So that's
Mm,
what.
okay. Hang on one second, guys. I'm still chatting over here. Talk among yourselves as I do more than
Yeah.
one thing.
More than all right. Got to multitask. Sometimes you got to do it. Yeah. All right. So up next we got the Golden State Warriors, and of course nobody's picking us. Um,
No.
well,
Mm-mm.
I shouldn't say nobody's picking us. There are a few writers out there who are picking us, which is a few more, meaning more than zero, that picked us to win either the first two series. So, but there was an article out today, and I can't remember verbatim, but it kind of tried to rank the uh, the best players that are still left in the tournament. So you got Boston and Miami, and you got Dallas and Golden State. And of those four teams, they had Luca as the top ranked player
Mm.
out of any of those four teams.
Wow. Well, I saw the debate on who would you rather. Who would you rather have, um, Luca or Steph Curry? And I'm going to agree with you. And this series is going to be really hard for me to watch because, of course, I'm a homer. But I also really, really like the Golden State Warriors. I like their style of play. Um,
Yeah.
I'm just a really big fan. So whoever wins this series, I'm okay with. But everybody says, and I'm on the same accord. If it comes down to the wire, I pick Steph right now. I pick Steph over Luca. Luca hasn't given me that body of work just yet to let me know that he can come in and perform under the clutch. Even though everybody was calling him Mr. Seven last on that last series, Mr. Seven, and I was like, okay, let's see. He came out and he showed out. I mean, he impressed me. Um, um, he impressed me dramatically. It was a great performance by him. And just to everybody, wanted to let everybody know. I'm talking to Megan on the other side. That's why I kind of was like off a little bit. And she said she's out and about, and she said she may not be back in time. But if she's back in time, she may join us as well. So she's got some other things she's ripping and running and doing.
I had another thought, and it just left me. Um, but yeah, so um,
And
the Mavericks have a chance.
Zeus is saying the Mavericks in 5 games.
Mavericks and fire. Wow, that's ambitious right there.
That's really
Ooh.
ambitious. I don't. Oh my
Whoa!
gosh, what
What?
is about happening
Oh, we
here?
need we need some theme music or something.
What in the heck is
Dun,
going?
dun, 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 dun,
Hey,
dun,
hey,
dun, dun.
Marcus, I knew I should have changed that password on getting in. I knew I should have changed that.
Oh, okay. Hey, you gentlemen have a fantastic night. It was nice seeing y'all. How's it going, fellas?
Yeah,
What's going on?
good.
I don't know. Should we call you Primus Pro or should we call you Zeus or should we call you Alpha? Should we call you? I don't know what else to call you.
Omega, Alpha, Omega.
I like what you did there, huh?
And you didn't.
No, so that Zeus thing is just from my YouTube channel. That's about 10 years old. So that's what my
Oh.
gaming was
Okay.
back then. So now it's the Primus Pro. So that's why whenever I was commenting, it was saying Zeus, but it's still Primus Pro.
Hey, check out your boy.
Yes, sir. I see it. I noticed that when I clicked on the YouTube channel. I was like, "Whoa, Brian
Yeah.
finally listened to the magician himself."
Well, I don't forget who said it in the chat too, but the microphone does look like Nick's, a guy that we've talked to on some of the other live streams that we do for some other people. But Trey has actually had it first, and he was the one who told me when we first started doing this to upgrade my microphone. And I went like a knucklehead, went with the a different older version I had, and then I went with the one like Marcus has, but it never really worked for me. Even though Marcus always sounded great on his, it just never seemed to pick up my voice or something. So then I traded for Trey's old one, and everybody would tell me that they still would hear me going in and out on that one. So I was just like, screw it. Let me go ahead and just get this microphone. And apparently it seems to work well.
I think you sound amazing. Honestly, you
Well,
sound
thank you.
fantastic.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, and now that Trey's on, you guys both have the same clarity. So
Really?
Sweet.
Well, Marcus, you always you come across as clear as well. So that's why I just never understood why my blue was never as good as yours.
yeah, I don't know. I just got mine back in October, November, so mine's fairly new.
Are we froze again on this on the live stream? No, maybe we're not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. Liz, I appreciate you saying that my voice is smoother than it was. There was a conversation we had in the chat on one of the other streams, and it was so funny because I was telling people how I hate my voice. I really do. I really hate my voice. And the chat was saying that I have the voice that could actually read an audiobook to someone. And I said, what? I said, there's no way. I said, my voice is the whiniest, high pitchiest. I don't know what it is, but I don't like my voice. That's the worst thing. To hear my voice playback is just like nails on a chalkboard. I just don't like it. But I hear a lot of people say that about themselves, that they don't like their own voices.
I feel the same way.
Hmm.
I don't know, Liz. How does this sound? Liz says the deeper the better.
Just turn up the gain. Just turn your gain all the way up and get real close to your microphone.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm not able to relate because I love listening to myself talk. So I go back and look at the VODs and I'm excited whenever I hear that stuff. So
You got Trey's laying in bed. He goes, "Oh, my soothing voice helps me just forget all the troubles in my life." Great. So, hey guys, I want to make sure that you guys aren't seeing any freezing on your end. I want to make sure everybody is still connected. We haven't lost you because we've had internet issues today, and I just want to make sure that we're not, losing you guys and haven't seen it freeze.
check it out for you.
So, why, Trey? Why in 5 games? What do you see that no one else sees?
So one of my main things that I think everyone's downplaying the Mavs for is not being able to handle the amount of superstars that the Warriors have, right? So you got Wiggins, Clay, Steph, why am I forgetting his name?
Green.
He's my favorite player. Green. And
Curry.
God, what's his name?
Steph
Draymond
Curry.
Green, yeah. Draymond Green. I was thinking of Jeff Green whenever you said that, and then Steph Curry. So I already know my assumption. What they're gonna do is they're gonna stick Draymond Green on Luka. That's what I'm thinking they will do.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people tend to forget that Luka's a big boy.
Yeah, 6'7",
I think
6'8".
he's like, yeah, and he's 240. He's not a little guy, you know.
Right.
He's not someone that's just going to get bodied around. You know, everyone on the Warriors, obviously, I think wisdom and experience is something that you can't compare. And they've obviously been to the finals many times, been in playoffs many times. But I really think that Dallas just has a team right now that, you know, I don't look at the Mavericks and say, man, they just had this one more piece, they'd be a championship team. I think everything they have right now is they have the ability to go win a championship. So,
Trey,
you
you're how tall are you? 6'6"?
6'5".
6'5". So Trey's 6'5", and Trey, by no stretch of the imagination, towers over Marcus and I at 5'10", 5'11". And I imagine a 6'8" guy, and you put him on what a point guard is usually anywhere between 6'2", 6'3", right? And you put in Luka, it can go from the 1 spot all the way down to the 4 spot. I can't see him playing center, but he can play 4 positions. There's going to be some matchup problems with the Golden States with him, but I guarantee you this, and I'm a homer. I can't see the role players playing as well as they played in that Phoenix series, in that last game of the Phoenix, playing as well with the Golden State Warriors. I hope to see it, but I just don't. And Liz is saying her ex-husband was 6'8", and she's 5'3". Good Lord, have mercy. That's a big disparaging there. That's a lot of height there.
I wonder how tall their kids are if they had children.
Yeah, I think Liz says our son is 6 something last week. She said her son is 6 something, 6'6", 6'5", 6'6".
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Is that, by chance, is that Gentleman Jack that I see right there?
no, sir. This would be, dude. You know I'm not gonna drink no Jack. You know that. This is
Gentleman Jack is beautiful.
This is
Woodford Reserve.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that was going to be my second guess. Is that some Woodford? You know, because the bottles of Woodford Reserve and Gentleman Jack are very similar.
Yes, they are. Now that you mention it, are you drinking anything tonight, Trey?
I'm not right now, just due to the things that I had to do today. I'm actually quite exhausted today, so I had to take some radioactive medicine. That was fun. So I'm thinking I might wake up and be the Hulk in the morning or something. You know, might open my door and tear it off the door frame. You know, who knows?
Man, simmer down. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to glow as red as this microphone is glowing. That's the only thing that's going to happen.
Hey, but you know that'd be cool too. So yeah, I'm a little put out. They gave me some other medicine that shot my heart rate up to like 140. It was insane.
Really?
So yeah, it was probably one of the craziest things I've ever experienced. Just laying still for 30 minutes, and then they do the medicine. They're like, "Hey, for about a minute, it's gonna feel like you're running a marathon," and it was uncomfortable. I will say that, very uncomfortable.
Hey guys,
You couldn't move at all?
no, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just asking, Trey, you couldn't move at all? You had to lay there?
Yeah, I had to lay there still because they were doing the CT scan over my heart. So, you know, they inject it into the IV, and you literally feel like you're sprinting. That's what it feels like tired sprinting. It was crazy, you know. I was like, just laying there. It was pretty, definitely an experience for sure.
Liz is asking, was that an MRI?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was MRI.
You know, speaking of sprinting, I'm going to call it out right now that June is going to be the month. I'm actually down 10 pounds. I've been doing my calisthenics. I've been ready to go. I'm going to run my 40 live. Drinks and Discussions. I'm going to do it, guys, in June. I don't know if anybody is going to dare to race me. There's one guy in my group who is probably 5'5", 200 pounds and he thinks he can beat me in a race. Ha! I doubt it. And if I lose to that guy, I'm telling you guys right now, I will 100% eat a bowl of chitlins live on here.
Oh.
And I absolutely hate them. I will never touch them. I don't want to cook them. I don't want to taste them. But I'm telling you right now, if that guy beats me, I will do it.
Whoa.
That's how much confidence I have. That's how much confidence. So, Ken, you go get Ben. Tell him to join the live stream. Tell him I'm talking trash. Oh, you know what? Ben actually told me, he goes, Brian, he goes, I actually watched your live stream, and you forgot to mention the race, and so that's why I wanted to make sure that I talked about the race on the live stream today.
That sounds like a very racist type bet there, wager. What does he have to do?
Wait a minute. He is a white guy. Wait a minute. If he suggested me eat chitlins, I would have probably said that's where you being racist. But I'm the one who mentioned it. No, we're gonna have something on the bet. I'm just throwing it out there, but there has to be some type of a wager going on between us to make sure that we're just not running for naught. Because at the end of the day, after it's all done, I'm probably going to need a massage, a nice ice bath, and a body rub. So,
you might need to have an ambulance on standby as well, just in case.
You know what, Liz? I've never had cow tongue. I don't know how your husband would eat a cow tongue. That's just I've seen those in the store, but there's no way I would actually eat a cow tongue. Again, I'm not a big fan at all of chitlins, but there are stores here in Texas that you can get chitlins anytime you want. Freedom Fighter, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. Thank you for joining the Drinks and Discussions chat. We're just talking a little bit of sports before we go into a little bit other things here, but we're talking about me getting into shape to run the 40. Now, again, the bet really is I have to run a 40 faster than 5 seconds. Now, I say I can do it in a 4.5, 4.6. I'm pretty sure I can do that. I could probably do that right now. But I'm going to do it live, and we're going to go in there and we're going to broadcast it live. I don't know who's going to be the cameraman, but somebody's got to do the camera work. Tacos
I'll be
out
there.
of cow tongue?
Volunteers tribute.
Oh, it's a volunteers tribute.
I will be there on site.
No, listen. Trey is coming from a guy whose brother just competed in state championships in track and field. So he's got some speed in the family.
So he runs. What he went to state for was the Open 200, the 4x2, and then the 4x4. So for those of you non-track knowers, the 4x2 is each person runs a 200-meter. 4x4 is each person one lap around the track. So I know some people call it the mile relay, the 400-meter relay, stuff like that. So, but in the 200, he got like 7th. Their 4x2 team got 5th. Which they knew they weren't going to be very competitive because they actually got into state off of the wild card, if anyone's familiar with how that works. But their 4x4, they've been the second fastest team in the state all year and like the 4th fastest team in the nation all year. So they got second to the team that's number 1 in the nation. So
congratulations to those that group of kids. Congratulations to them. They just needed me to anchor that team, and I've already probably pulled them on and made them push them to the top.
Yep.
That's all they needed was me.
I think so.
Liz, you know what? Cow tongue in a salad like tuna and mayo and spices sounds absolutely disgusting. Still, I'm just saying, it's disgusting.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. We used to have I can run a mile.
All right.
My mile, I'm trying to get under 10 minutes right now. If I could do a mile in under 10 minutes, I think I would still be ready. But right now, My mile can fluctuate between 11 and 10 minutes. So I'm telling you, Trey, if you see me in person again, you will be able to tell I've dropped some weight. You'll be able to tell.
Nice. That's
And,
awesome.
I'm back on hitting the weights. I'm trying to compete with Marcus. I'm gonna be the next ninja warrior with him. We're gonna do the little mud run. We're gonna do the obstacle courses. We're gonna be ready. I'm ready, man.
Oh yeah,
That's fantastic.
I got back on my wagon too, so no, I feel you, Brian. So
Yeah.
congrats and keep it up.
And the funny
You
thing,
said you were down 10 pounds, right?
yep.
That's awesome.
So I'm
being
under
weighed at the doctor. Oh, go ahead.
I'm under 200 pounds now. So last time I checked, I'm at 195.
You're at your fighting
Oh, wow.
weight.
If I get to 185, that'd be it, dude. I'm back in the game. Tell my wife she better stay out. She better hold on to me because I get 185. I'll be fine. No, I'm just kidding.
Better watch out. She's gonna have to get the stick out.
No, the last thing she said, nobody wants your old crusty ass. Nobody wants.
Sorry,
No.
Brian. I think you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you, Trey. I'm beautiful with a sultry voice.
Yes. I did
I
just
crack
want to
myself
say
up.
I miss you fellas, man.
Hey, man,
I'm
we
actually
miss you.
really excited to be on here with y'all.
We miss you as well, Chief. It has not been the same. We've carried it on. We tried to carry the flame without you, but again, we do miss you as being a part of the show, man. Always, you're always got the seat welcome. It's always welcome
Sure.
for you. Oh, by the
I
way,
don't have class on Tuesdays anymore, so
oh, cool. Liz, my wife is
Come on-
an
come on
absolute. My wife is a hoot. She is 100% a joy. When she is funny, she's funny. But don't get me wrong, she got that mean streak. she'll keep me in my place a lot. But yeah, she thinks she's a lot funnier than she is. But I laugh. I give her courtesy laughs all the time. Courtesy chuckles is what I like to call them. So first of all, let me just tell everybody thank you again for watching. We really appreciate you guys. Again, I did the promo at TK's. I don't know if you saw the promo today.
I did.
So I was out at TK's today. They want us to desperately come out there and do that, do a podcast out there. And again, the reason we stopped going to Uncorked is because Marcus is not a big drinker. Then also it was just he and I up there. And it just started becoming more because Marcus works, and by the time he's off and travels and all that kind of stuff, and I'm cooking dinner and trying to say goodnight to my son, it just seems like it was more feasible for us to start doing more remote podcasts. And then on occasions, we'll go up to Uncorked. I did go up to Uncorked last Thursday, and of course, every time I go in there, why are you not coming up here on Tuesdays anymore? We miss you and all this other stuff. And so we do want to get back up there and see those guys, but just letting everybody know that's the reason why. Trey had stopped being a part of our show, so it was just a little bit more of a, I don't know, not a hassle, but it was just a little bit more taxing on us to get up to Uncorked every week. What do you think, Marcus? Right?
Yeah, no, I blame me. I don't drink, so
Gosh, you're such a fun sucker.
shame.
And just to have a great disposition without drinking. So wait a minute. So I was going to bring this guy up in our next conversation because I think it's important. But there was a guy who was at a Christmas party with my best friend Tim, and Tim he got this from the movie, and you guys know movies, so tell me what movie this is, because I forget. There was a guy who says, why are you not drinking? He goes, I don't drink. He goes, oh, well, I don't trust people who don't drink. And it was supposed to be kind of like a joke, ha ha ha. Well, this guy took it seriously, like, oh, this guy doesn't like people who don't drink. Woo. And so when he left that party, he goes to my friend Tim and goes, well, hopefully, even though I don't drink, that we could still be friends. And Tim was like, dude, I was just kidding. Wasn't really meaning that I don't like you or anything like that. So it was kind of an awkward moment. But I had a conversation with the same guy about some things that made me feel as if he was a weird, not a weird, I don't want to say weird. He was a character to where it made me rethink more about what we're going to talk about next when it comes to certain people. So I think now is a good segue to start talking about it. First of all, I want to thank everybody so far for watching. We've been just talking about the Mavericks, our hometown. Trey has them in 5 games, beating the dynasty of the Golden State Warriors. I don't. I think it's go down. I think it may go 6 to 7 games, but can't see the Mavericks winning 5 games, losing 2. So, but we'll see. So here's what I wanted to talk about, and it's kind of one of those things. I'm just desperate to hear more of the people in the chat's reaction, because all the people on the chat has been on a platform with us where certain things have been said to me, some things have been said about other people, and just some of the rhetoric that we hear. And I want to talk about the shooting that happened in Buffalo. 18-year-old kid, he's a man, but he's a kid, decided that he thought that black people were not worthy of living just because of the color of their skin. He goes and guns down people, looks at a white guy as he's gunning down people and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry," and moves on to the next target. So my question is, do you guys see a societal issue where white supremacists are becoming, just as what they've said and the FBI has deemed, a terroristic group, a major concern in our society? The floor is yours.
Short answer, yes.
Come on, Marcus. You can't just leave it at that. You can't just leave
Yeah,
it at that.
no. I'm getting there. That was supposed to be like a dramatic pause.
Oh, okay, okay.
But no, but these groups have been around. They've been in existence since, and I'm just going to say since the beginning of time. And they're above ground. We go through the civil rights movement, and so it just kind of suppresses things a little bit, and so these groups they disappear underground a little bit. They're not so showy, but then in recent years, these groups have kind of stepped out of the shadows, if you will, and are kind of feeling more confident about making their presence known. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a problem. And it's a problem because there are people, and obviously it's not everybody, because not everybody in these groups are acting out, but there are people in these groups that are.
Well, I'm glad Trey's here.
To...
I'm glad Trey's here because
ahead.
we kind of had a conversation a while back, and Trey had made a comment, and I don't want to misquote him, but it was almost on the lines where the younger generation, and Trey is young, he's 26, 27, and he said that racism and all that racial rhetoric is not, younger people don't view it the same way as older people view it. Something to the gist of that. And to see someone who is 18, younger than even Trey, to have that kind of hatred to someone just because of the color of their skin, I'm wondering if he still believes what he said regarding the younger generation and how racism is not as prevalent in that generation as it is, or and what we've experienced.
Yeah, I still do stand behind that statement. And just to clarify with everyone, what I was saying back then when I said that was, obviously racism is not as prevalent as it was in years past. Same thing with, like homosexuality being more acceptable than it was years past. All that stuff, the lines are beginning to blur now. with society with the younger. Just because I have brothers and sisters in high school, I communicate with them a lot about like, hey, you know, what happens with this, the pronouns thing, how do you guys feel about stuff like this? I love to pick their brain to see what younger kids think about certain things like that. And they're like, you know, I don't care if he's this race, I don't care if he's gay or whatever, yada yada, whatever it may be. So I still stand behind that, right? What I do think though, and I think it's a double-edged sword with how society is now, is I don't know if y'all recall, but he had a 180-page manifesto that he released before he did that. And within that, he let everyone know that he hasn't met anyone. Everything that he became radicalized from was from the internet. So I think that's, you know, starting to look at it from that perspective. I really do think that the internet, social media, what children are exposed to is really starting to mold them as a person, you know. For example, I have a brother who was on YouTube, and there was a thing that popped up, and I've seen it too, and it says gay test. Take this and see if you're gay. And he took it, and he was like, the test said I'm gay, I'm gay. He's crying and stuff, and I'm like, dude, just because some freaking test on YouTube said you're gay does not make you gay, dude.
That test is going to tell everybody that they're gay. That's the design of that test. It's going to tell you everybody's gay.
Exactly. So that propaganda, but it doesn't. He's a young mind individual, doesn't have the mental capacity to make that understanding, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gay." So I wonder the things he's looking at, what he sees. You know, is he like, "Wow, everything this is saying, black people really are a menace. They really are a." And I'm not saying this is okay, but I'm saying I'm wondering if this is why he did what he did. So I can't remember what the theory's called, but what's it called where it's saying they're on purpose having black people have more children than white people to push white people out of society? I can't remember what that's the
that's the it'll come to me before the end of the podcast, but I know it, the replacement theory.
Replacement, yes. So he put that in his manifesto. So you know, how did you, with you saying it was all from the internet, what were you reading and looking at that made you start thinking that? You know?
So the manifest is part of the issue, and this is what I want. Oh, by the way, I want to tell. I want to say hello to what's up to Chris Arctor, and also comment on some of the things that people are saying too. Liz is saying that she lives in a diverse community, and she's never seen anything like, you know, prejudice towards people of color and all that type of stuff. That's the problem. I never see the wind, but I know it blows. Okay? Just because you don't experience it, how many times have you actually talked to a person of color who has experienced it? You might not have seen it firsthand, but if you talk to those people, if you're in a diverse community, and you go and have a conversation and you say, hey, I had this conversation or was on this, you know, this podcast or this live stream, and they were talking about this. You're a friend of mine. Have you ever experienced it? And I guarantee you, if you know 5 minorities, 3 out of those 5 will tell you they've experienced something in your town. And I've always said this before. I've experienced it at Uncorked. Uncorked is, we've been on Uncorked when they said it. When someone sat down and started throwing the N-word at me and one of my former co-hosts as we were sitting there trying to do a podcast. The N-word in our town, which is a very diverse, we have a very large Middle Eastern population, very large Asian community, large white and black community. So it is a very diverse group of people, but you will still have people who don't like you because of the color of your skin. And that's both ways. It's a lot of people, black people, and the same thing. They don't like white people because of whatever their ancestors have told them about how black people were treated. So I don't know if that's a larger population as people who are of white descent don't like minorities because of this replacement theory that's going and being pushed in some of the mainstream media channels out there. But I want to tell you this. I don't care what the manifest said. about he never met anybody or whatever. You don't just go and watch something and just say, hey, I hate black people to the extent where I want to go kill them, without being somewhere around in your family history where you have been exposed to negative talk about minorities throughout your whole entire life. You're 18 years old, you know right from wrong, and you can't tell me you've gone to school with minorities, you've probably had friends of minorities. So telling me that you've never interacted with anybody is just, you're trying to clean up something that you're trying to make your manifesto look a certain way, and this is just, I think he just added that to be something weird. I don't know why, but I just don't think that manifest really is adds up to a whole lot of yellow beans to me.
Yeah,
I
one of
might
the,
know.
oh, go ahead, Troy.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I could care less what he said in his manifesto. I'm more so looking at it from a research side, just trying to see, what was his justification for it. Not saying that I care what his justification is, but more so just trying to understand what got him to that point, and I'm curious just to ask, but I assume Brian has because he said it. But have you both seen the whole video?
Mm-hmm.
Of the shooting itself.
Right.
Yeah, no, I one of the articles I was reading said that it had been pulled down. It was on, I guess it was on Twitch.
Yeah, it was on
been pulled
Twitch.
down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's downloaded, and you can find it if you do a
Right.
little research. I can
Mm-hmm.
link you to it if need be. But if you've noticed, for those of you that have seen it, and from someone being a veteran myself, watching him get out of that car and the way he fired upon those people was not. I'm by no means calling him a professional, but he looked like he's been training.
Yes, he
So
was
I'm
practicing.
also trying to figure out if he's 18, does he live at home? If not, regardless, where was he training at? Who's been watching him? The way he was holding his rifle with a C grip. That's more of like a high level, like people understand that, that's the most control. He was shooting people with controlled pairs, which is shooting them twice.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he moved around the grocery store was in a tactical way.
Mm-hmm.
And not only was his movement tactical, but he had actual body armor on.
Right.
I'm sure, I don't know if y'all recall, but an off-duty or a retired police officer actually shot him.
Mm-hmm.
But, the body armor stopped it. But I'm just like, man, where was this kid training? Where did he learn all of this? Was it on the internet? If so, he had to be doing it somewhere. Where was he doing it? In his house, in his bedroom, so.
Right. And Elizabeth, or Liz, if you didn't know, he would live stream the whole thing. As he was doing it, he was live streaming it. So there was a video, and they in anything on the internet, if it's up there for a few seconds, somebody is grabbing that and saving it because they know it's going to be taken down. We all have experienced exactly what I'm talking about. And I just want to talk to some of the comments here. Freedom Fighter, this is why I wanted to talk about this, because there was a guy on one of the other channels that was spitting out racial epithets towards me. And everybody on the chat was probably witness to it. If not, they've heard about it before now. And when you talk about the internet, this idiot that we were talking to at that time, he was still going on after that had even happened. And he was still trying to spew these hateful things. And if you're an impressionable, and by no means am I just saying young people are impressionable, you have idiots who are adults. And they are impressionable individuals that also follow what they see on the internet as well. So the internet can be very useful, but it also can be very damaging to people like this young kid. If what he says is true, all he was doing is getting fed propaganda from the things that he was watching. That happens in real life. It happens to adults. It happens to kids. Not to the degree of maybe shooting people, but we've seen it. People were so propagandized that there was a guy who showed up at a person's house, didn't even live there, didn't even live in the state, traveled to the state just to go knock or go and try to stalk this guy because the guy on the internet said it was a good thing to do. It was some kind of an internet beef. That's how scary the times that we live in, and how the guy who's probably spilling the hateful speech is the one you don't have to be worried about. It's the people who are following him, the people who are lurking in the background, watching his videos over and over and over again. Those are the ones that are the scary ones, because you don't see their face until they end up doing something like this kid did. And that's why I believe that social media needs to do a little bit. I get it. Free speech is free speech, whether it's hate speech or not. You have the right to say it. But if it's my platform, you have no right to say the crap that people say, all that hate stuff. You don't have the right to say that on mine. This is my business, my company. I can't go in and talk about women or minorities. And if I go into the office, they can't do anything. They could fire me on the spot if I say something like that against company policy. So I don't care about free speech when it comes to hate and trying to spur people to act violently toward another human being or a sector of people. That to me just doesn't feel right in my soul.
No, Liz, one of Liz's comments also, she said she would like to know what the boy's parents and family taught him regarding different races. And in one of the articles that I read, they were talking to this kid's aunt, and all she could do was think about, oh my gosh, I don't know, I don't know what was going on there. That's not how he was raised. This is not in his family. I mean, by all rights, this was a very good family. This and the other. And my thing is, you don't know everything about every member of your family. You just don't. You may know a lot of things, but there are always some secrets that you don't know. And so anytime I hear people say that, maybe they feel that way, but if they take a step back and look, there's no way you could have known. I mean, well, maybe there's a way you could have known, but don't be surprised if you didn't know.
Right. Alan was talking about another episode where I was on another call or another live stream, and there were two black people on the same live stream, and they were going at me, man. They were hitting me hard, and both of them were like crackheads, the proverbial crackhead. One was in his car smoking weed, and the other lady was, you could tell she admitted that she was a recovering dope fiend, which means she's still a crackhead. But we were trying to have a conversation about the FOIA Act and some things, and I was just trying to. They started going at me because they didn't think I was black enough, or I wasn't cool enough because I didn't smoke weed and I didn't do all those types of things. So the question is, would I say the way they acted toward me was racist? I don't necessarily think it was necessarily racist. It was that inferior, that they felt as if I was trying to make them feel inferior. So there's a reaction that a lot of people have, and even what's the guy, Bigger Trust and something, whatever his name is. He actually said when we were trying to give him advice on how to do things that we were coming across as being holier than thou. When people feel like you're coming across holier than thou, they tend to kind of clam up and try to, insult you because you think you're better than them. Broken trust, yes, broken trust, Liz. Thank you. I can give a rat's ass for people who think that someone else can make them feel inferior, because you gotta have some gumption. You gotta have balls. No man should ever make you feel. Another woman should never make you feel as if they are better than you. You've got to have your own self-esteem. That stuff comes from within yourself. If they are speaking in a dialect or in some type of a way that you feel that their education is higher than yours, then that's on you. Educate yourself, people. But don't sit there and take a back seat or try to throw stones at someone just because you have some self-confidence issues. That just makes no sense. But that's what I got from those two individuals. I felt that they thought that I was coming across as I was better than them, and they kind of themselves felt that I was more educated than them, and they felt that they needed to go on the defensive.
Hey, just like Drake said, I used to get teased for being black, and now I'm teased for not being black enough.
Black enough, exactly right. How
Mhm.
how many people on this podcast have heard that you didn't either fit in with a certain bunch of black people because you didn't weren't black enough? Raise your hand.
Oh,
Show of hands.
Still do.
yeah. They're like, you talk white. I'm like, huh. I didn't know that races spoke a certain way. That's new to me. You mean I can articulate?
Right. Yeah, they'll call you an Uncle Tom because you're trying to have a factual discussion. Thanks, C. Allen. Yes, they will say that a lot. And Liz is saying that no one's ever been accused of not being white enough. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that they were accused by a group of friends that said they weren't white enough. Huh. I'd be kind of
So
curious to know.
I was going to bring something up, and it's a little bit of a spicy topic, but me and a friend of mine were having this conversation. He is a Caucasian male, and we were just talking about it. So, jokingly, me and him, obviously, in your friend group, joking back. So I was just like, man, he's like, not making light of a mass shooting. But I'm like, dude, what's the issue here? Do you see how all the mass shootings are always from white males? And he fired back and said, well, that's crazy because black people commit mass shootings every day. And I was like, well, let's talk about it. Um, so he says, in inner cities or, stuff like that, he's like, by Google definition, a mass shooting is more than two people, and he started dropping links of, inner cities where, there's gang shootings and more than two people have been shot, or there was a high school football game last year where a rival gang shooting happened and like 11 people got shot. And he's like, no one reported on that as a mass shooting. Only when it's a Caucasian person is it a mass shooting. And I made the statement as well. They're not going into churches, into schools, at a concert in Las Vegas, stuff like that. But I wonder, is there any correlation there? Do we know why? Is it really a race-fed reason that it's a Caucasian male always? Or did my counterpart have a point with what he said? I'm just curious what you both think about that.
Marcus, go ahead.
No, no, I was there might be some merit to that because I've kind of had this thought before too. Sorry, my daughter's getting ready to go to bed. Good night, sweetheart. Um, yeah, I've long felt and very frustrated and confused as to well, first of all, I didn't realize I didn't understand the definition of a mass shooting, so that's an interesting take on it there. But if that is a definition, then yeah, then it sounds like there might be a problem in the black community for sure. But I've long felt that the criminal activity in the black community, it's always been frustrating to me because I'm thinking to myself, and I'm not advocating that they should go and do this elsewhere necessarily, but the question I'm asking is, why do it here? Why do it in your community? Why do it in this community? Um, and my thought behind that is it's almost perhaps it might be a cop out. It might be an easy way out because you, they don't fear the same type of retribution within the black community that they would get if they take it outside of that. Uh, so I don't know. I don't know, Trey. I guess I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I think there might be a little merit. Uh,
And I saw C. Allen
Yeah.
correcting me. He actually said it's 4+ victims, including the shooter, not two. So I apologize. I thought it was two.
And I'm going to go even further before I start my comment to say something about C. Allen, and we're talking about how accountability and there's no repercussions. We grew up that there are going to be consequences and repercussions for our actions, and you could be a internet tough guy and go unscathed. You can talk a whole bunch of crap. You get a lot of followers, but no one's going to come and punch you in the mouth because you're behind a keyboard. Nobody. And you've got some alias and you hide behind a blur screen or some type of avatar. Nobody knows who you really are. So there's a lot of internet tough guys. We all know little Joey procrastinates, or not procrastinates, but tries to sell himself as being some kind of internet tough guy. I don't believe in those types of individuals. If you have something to say, if you know where I live, blah, 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 come step to me, you get knocked in the teeth. Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. But going back to this particular, yeah, but going back to this particular, what you were saying, Trey, and Marcus, you kind of hit on something too that I'm going to kind of disagree with you on.
Okay.
The media, the media, I believe, does pick and choose on what they want to put on their channels. But it's also, violence is like a car wreck. It happens at such a frequency, it's impossible to cover them all. Okay? So when you're dealing with crimes, and especially in high crime areas, you hear the gunshots. People seem to say, oh, this is another round of gunshots that are going off. Another person falls dead. Oh, there's another victim in the middle of the street. We're used to seeing this stuff every day. The ambulance comes. Why do you want to keep reporting on the same area of crime that's always there? There's no newsworthy. Nobody wants to see the same news story all the time. It just doesn't sell, guys. And again, the news is not necessarily there to inform you. They're in the business to make money. Okay? So whatever they think is going to garner the most views, news organizations are the first social media organizations. It's all about the views, the Nielsen ratings, how many ratings they get for their shows. That is what keeps them in business, folks. Now, when it comes to Marcus, I hate more than anything in this world. Nah, I won't say that much. I just hate it when I see people like Ben Shapiro and what's the black girl's name? Is it Candace?
Candace Owens?
Candace Owens. When they try to help the white supremacists by saying, what about black on black crime? I hate that more than anything else. Because when are they calling white on white crime? People commit crimes in their area. It happens. People where we live, predominantly white, crimes all the time. White people against white people in the same area. Shootings, road rage incidents. People fighting at the bars all the time. But when do you ever hear, man, I'm tired of white people killing other white people? Black on black crime was a term given to black society of black people to help propagate the stigma that we are barbaric. We're animals. We can't stop killing each other. We can't even, self-govern ourselves. So why should we be allowed to socialize with the other society of people? We're barbaric. That's something that needs to be shamed from people to say. And hey, Nick, glad to see you, buddy. I just saw you I sent you a Discord link to join. We'd love to get some insight from you, buddy. But when white people have the audacity to use that as some type of a talking point, it just shows the ignorance that they have. Because why are you pointing the finger over here when you should be pointing your finger back at your own communities? What's happening in your own communities? Don't tell me what's happening, in New York or some predominantly black area. I could give a rat's ass about what you think about what's going on over there when I know that the kidnapping victims here, the Amber Alerts that go off daily, if not weekly, in our area in Texas, Don't give me that nonsense about why again black people, stop killing each other. Give me a break.
But I think, because I hear what you're saying, but I just think that it's a real thing. You can take away the 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 category or the label, and then look at it for what it is. What am I trying to say? So we're no longer segregated, but we're always going to be separated. That's just how it's going to be. We're always going to be seen by the color of our skin, and when these news media outlets or people in general, see these criminal activities taking place, it's always going to be referenced differently. I think I read something too where uh, the kid that did the shooting in Buffalo was labeled in the media as a white teenager, and
Not a
if
thug.
I'm quoting, right, and
Hmm.
if I'm quoting correctly, uh, the young man that was murdered in Ferguson, him being the same age, he was referred to as a black man,
Oh yeah. Hmm.
all versus a black
Kid
teenager
or a
or a
kid.
teenager
Hmm.
or a kid. So it's just that there's always, like I said,
Well,
we're
that's
no longer segregated, but there's always going
you're
to be
making
that
my point.
separation.
You're making my point. We have to get rid of the stigma that black people are somehow um, not equal just because we're black. We're more barbaric because we're black. We are not given the same type of um, equal justice, or we're not labeled the same. I don't mind being looked at as a black man. You
Right.
should not be. I see color. Everybody sees color. That's what makes us
Mhm.
different. But when you see color and you automatically think that person is more aggressive than another white person or a white person, or if you see me on a bad day because someone who's behind a counter is white and I speak up for myself and now I'm the bad guy because I'm trying to say, hey, you're not going to speak to me because they're all of a sudden now again everybody's looking at the black guy as being the person who's wrong. It's the stigma that has been perpetuated throughout our society over and over and over again. That see, this is what happens when you protest. Black Lives Matter, the looting of the liquor stores and Targets and all that crap. This is why, when you get people who are when they try to use the narrative, they pick those types of things, those situations, in order to make us look more barbaric. But they don't look at the good things that people do, and they try to tear down the Supreme Court justice that was trying to be nominated, and how when they want to make her out to be some type of pedophile lover and all those types of things. You There's just a societal push to where, again, to what Trey is saying, is that there's some type of replacement theory that people are starting to believe as if the white man, white race is going to be secondary and lose their country. And they've got to do something about it.
Well, the problem is they're not gonna, if that's the case, they're not gonna lose their country to us. Newsflash. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Well, and answer Liz, I do want to be seen as a man first, but that's the first thing you see. I think you see man, woman first. And then secondary, you probably see what the color of their skin was. So if I saw somebody walking down the street, I saw that man. What color was he? He was black or he was white,
mhm.
as opposed to women. I want to be considered. I want somebody to say I saw a good-looking man first and foremost, before they see color. But I don't think it's a bad thing if you see color. I just don't think that's the where um, I think that we put a whole lot of stock on as being something should be wrong with seeing color. My son, who is a biracial kid, he calls his mom and he calls himself yellow and he calls me brown. So we don't teach them about races. We don't teach them any of that. Kids see color. And he plays this game where it's called Baby Hands on VR, and he can change the color of the hands. He only sees the hands. And he goes up there, if you push. Sorry, I hit the button. Sorry. When you push the hands on the pictures, the hands change colors. And he'll go, oh, Dad, I'm going to be your color today. Or Dad, I'm going to be yellow today. Or Dad, I'm going to be white today. All those types of things. Color is beautiful. It's the colors of the rainbow. We should be teaching kids and everybody to appreciate the diversity and the colors that we all have. But we should not be trying to depict people as being barbaric or child molesters or, the shooters or whatever the case, mass shooters. We shouldn't be depicting those based upon the color of our skin. Each one of those incidents should be treated as the incident in which they occurred, not necessarily by the color of the skin. This guy was being taught hate. Let's talk about what indoctrinated him to create this travesty, create these murders. Then you started discussing about how there is a bigger problem going on about people are trying to use the internet to impress younger minds to do these types of things.
I agree with you there on that point for sure. I love hearing what you and Brian both had to say about that, because in what my friend was saying, I just like to hear from his point of view,
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious because putting myself in his shoes, I would assume hearing, wow, white guys are always doing all the mass shootings probably doesn't make you feel too good to be a white guy, right? And,
Right.
Whenever, shoes are on the other foot, there's certain things that can be said to make you not feel that great about being a black guy, But I do agree with what you were saying about not seeing color or anything. I mean, you all know how I feel about the whole thing, and I'm not going to go down my rabbit hole, but, I'm not Caucasian and African American. I'm an American. And so are both of you, and so is everyone else watching this podcast. If you were born in America, you're American. You're not European, Italian, whatever you are. Whatever country you're born is what you are. You can have heritage, your great-grandmother, great-great-great-grandmother can be from wherever, but whatever country you're born in, that's what you are.
My name is Hakeem.
Yeah. Exactly.
Coming to America. Elizabeth said as a grown woman before, she learned from some of her own black coworkers how differently black women have to take care of their hair as opposed to white women. This is a good point because this is something that I've always wanted to bring up into one of our conversations, but never had the opportunity to. But they just passed the Crown Act. And if you don't know what the Crown Act is, the Crown Act is that it stipulates that you cannot be discriminated for having natural hair, an afro, cornrows, dreadlocks, twist, whatever the case may be. You cannot be discriminated. And if you haven't seen what I'm talking about, there have been kids performing in sporting events that the referee or someone said, hey, you're going to be disqualified if you don't cut your hair or take those dreadlocks out or take these out or whatever. And kids are crying before they compete in the sporting event as their team is trying to take whatever natural hair they had down. How dare them? Because our hair doesn't look the same as theirs, or because someone else's hair doesn't look the same as you. And this is what gets me. You have one of your representatives, one of the biggest idiots, in my opinion, on the political floor in the House of Representatives. As they're trying to pass this Crown Act, she starts spewing off that she was going to vote no, and she was doing a proxy vote for someone else, and she's trying to talk about it, and she goes, I don't even know what this act is called, but it's the Bad Hair Act.
Who said that?
Go. What's the lady with the glasses? Not Marjorie Taylor Greene, but the other idiot.
You're not talking about the old lady that I can't stand.
No.
Right?
We're talking about she's young. She's actually pretty cute, but
You're talking about Tommy
Boebert?
Lahren?
No, Boebert. Bobbert? I
Oh,
don't
you're
know
talking
why I
about a
can't-
representative.
Yeah, rep. Yeah, rep. She's a House
Gotcha,
representative.
I'm not sure.
Boebert, Babbert, something like that. Anyway, it'll come to me. The Woodfords,
Did I lose you guys?
killing me. Go ahead.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can
Okay,
hear, yeah, we can hear.
okay, I'm good now.
Go ahead, Brian.
No, I was just going to say, but when you have white people who try to depict black people's hair, natural hairstyles, the way they look, and trying to say it because it didn't look like yours, it's bad hair, the Bad Hair Act, and people who are supposed to be representing a district, the district that's full of people of all different types of hair, colors, and backgrounds. Why do you feel that that should be the stage in which you call something like the Crown Act that is supposed to, and there's a lot of kids crying out there, a lot of people who've committed suicide because of the way they look. You want to call it the Bad Hair Act.
I recall there was a guy that was actually really talented at football. He was a twin, and him and his twin had dreads down to their back. I'm pretty sure that it was long in high school. And here in Frisco, Texas, and our coach said, if you want to be on this football team, you gotta cut your hair. And I just remember thinking, like, what does their hair have to do with anything? And they had to, one of them did, and the other one didn't. So the other one was off the football team, and the
crazy.
other one stayed. But they were both talented football players, and I just thought it was ridiculous. But I think, again, this just goes to our how you grew up type thing, right? Back then, that hair wasn't acceptable. Same thing with tattoos. My senior year, I decided to get a tattoo, and I had to cover it up my entire senior year. And that was just a rule at my school, by my coaches. Had to cover up the tattoo because I'm a gang member, I guess. But
C. Allen gave me the name is Lauren Boebert, and she's not from Texas. It's a federal bill, by the way. The Crown Act. It's a federal bill, and it was passed in the House of Representatives, United States House of Representatives. Not to brag, by the way. I don't want to brag. But every time somebody says they don't want to brag, they're going to brag, so I'm going to brag. I have been in the House of Representatives. I've been on the floor of the House of Representatives. I've been in the barrels of the House of Representatives as a guest. Not as a tour, but as a guest of someone. I've seen a lot of different things in the government sector there, in D.C. And by the way, I'm planning another tournament again this year. And Trey, they're giving away another set of clubs. So I still got clubs for you. You're going to have to get them fitted, but I still got clubs for you. So whenever you want to start playing golf, the clubs are still yours. They're actually, those Callaway X22s are still nice, man. You better come get them.
you just let me know, and I'll be there.
But I just don't like the hatred I'm seeing in the world today. I don't like this replacement theory where people feel as if they're being replaced. And at the end of the day, we all have jobs. I don't look over my shoulder thinking that when they hire somebody new that this person is going to replace me. I just don't. I go about my business. I keep doing the things that I know how to do, and keep trying to make sure that at the end of the day, I have some kind of impact that make people think that I'm worthy of my position. So if you do that as a white man, black man, why in the hell would you feel as if that there's some type of assault on your existence, on your well-being, or your standing in life? Someone would have to explain that to me, because I cannot fathom that logic of thinking. I just can't. There's no way from my brain, the way it works, for me to understand how anybody could feel as if they are a white person under assault and feel like this country is being taken away from them. How?
And I think one thing to remember too, we're talking about a specific group of people, not all white people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I just chalk it up to brainwashing, right? Someone has the gift of gab, and they decided to get on the internet and spew some nonsense, and they gained a couple radical followers. I don't know. Have you two seen the new Batman?
Yes.
I haven't seen it yet.
I don't want to
Yes.
spoil it, but I'm going to spoil a little part of it.
La 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 la.
Yeah, if anything, you just it's not spoiling the whole movie, but
No, you're good.
the way the Riddler got everyone, to do what they did in the movie was social media, and he had a couple of radical followers, and you only need a couple.
That's it.
You only need 10 to 15 people out of hundreds of millions of billions of social media users to say, you know what, he's right. Because you got to think about it. Your odds are really high to get 10 people to agree with you.
Absolutely.
Out of a billion.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And maybe out of those 10, 7 are, I'll buy a plane ticket and I will go meet him for this, escapade we're going to do on X, Y, or Z, And I really think in that movie, I was like, hey, great movie, but I really think you're giving some people some ideas now, too,
So, Trey, I want you to hold that thought because, again, you've been out for a while. You have not been exposed to some of the things that all the other people in the chat and how we've gotten to get them to start watching our channel is based upon what you just said. But I'm going to hold off before I tell you that. I'll get you up on a quick version with that real quick. But I want to circle back on two things because you also mentioned something to me. And I'm not going to talk about it because I try not to really talk about a whole lot of religion or politics on here, but we can touch on them. But Liz asked me a question about because she didn't think Jehovah's Witnesses could drink. But I want to dispel that theory. Jehovah's Witnesses drink. That's not one of their beliefs. They believe in moderation in alcohol is fine. They have no problem with that. Every Jehovah's Witness, or nearly every Jehovah's Witness I've ever ran across, was drank alcohol. But as you were saying, religion is kind of the same way to me. Every religion, there's thousands of religions. I don't know if you guys know this. There's thousands of religions. Some of them are cults, some of them are not. But cults do the exact same thing. You get a few people who follow you, drink the Kool-Aid, and then you're there. You're in. You're hooked. And sometimes these people get hooked. Sometimes you think, man, I thought this person was very, sound-minded, very upstanding citizen, and they start believing some of the crap that is being spilled, and you're at sound mind, and you're going, what in the hell? Why are they believing this kind of crap? And once they believe it, it's hard to bring them out of it. It's hard to bring someone out of a cult. Damn near impossible. Now, I will say this. The Batman I thought it was 7 out of 10. I was an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. But it was good enough that I didn't realize that the 3 hours was 3 hours until it was over. And I was like, that didn't seem like it was 3 hour long movie. It was that entertaining.
Straight action, man.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Very well acted as well. I thought all the characters, even the guy who I didn't think was going to be a great Batman.
Twilight.
Yeah, I didn't think Twilight Boy was going to do it.
He did a great job.
Yeah, he did a really good job. Now,
one thing I want to
real quick,
go ahead.
Elizabeth, you can talk to Mr. Choir Boy over here, Marcus. He's the Baptist about alcohol.
You will not defile the temple in which is your body.
Mountain Dew.
Defiling the temple. And I kind of want to piggyback off what you said, Brian, because it made me realize when you were saying that about religion that I don't know if anyone's forgotten, but this is a real religion, the flying spaghetti monster.
Shut up.
Wait, there's no way you two have not heard about this.
No, I've never heard of
This
this.
is a real recognized religion in the United States. It's called Pastafarianism. It's real. And it's called the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. And they have a following of like 10,000 people. And they believe that there's a spaghetti monster that created Earth.
Yes.
So, what I think is, and this is what it is, the guy's name is Bobby Henderson. He was 24 in 2006, created this religion. I really do think that sometimes people are just like, you know, like myself, I think I'm a okay speaker. So I feel like if I wanted to, maybe I could spew some nonsense and I'd get a couple people to believe me or get on board with me. And I think that's what this 24-year-old did. And then it ended up gaining traction. And next thing you know, there's 10,000 people following the spaghetti monster religion, and it's absurd.
Can I read this to y'all real quick?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just looked up pastafarianism. Pastafarianism encompasses the concept of reward and punishment for the good and bad. When a person dies, he can ascend to the great pasta bowl with the flying spaghetti monster, or descend to the depths of the underground freezer of doom.
It's just ridiculous. And Michael, I saw you say what? I don't know if you're just tuning in, but we're talking about how silly it is that there's a religion, and if you're unaware, it's called Flying Spaghetti Monster. And it's a real thing recognized in the United States by the government as a religion. They tax-free, all that riffraff. They have like 10,000 followers. I think they have more than 10,000 followers. But there's a church, and their spaghetti monster religion is literally 2 meatballs, spaghetti noodles, and some eyes coming out of the noodles. And, I was just relating that to how people will believe nonsense. And that's why I really believe that this, that's what these active shooters and these mass shooters are getting a sense of justice and that they're right. Because they read things online. They really believe in the race replacement theory. Is that what it's called? Race replacement theory?
No. Yes. Race. Yeah.
Like I said, it's nonsense.
I don't think it's race.
It just goes to show.
I don't think it's race. I think it's just replacement theory.
Replacement theory? Okay. There's just nonsense on the internet, and it only takes out of the billion users for a couple to follow. Spaghetti monster, believing in replacement theory, things like that nature.
So, Michael H., thank you for joining the Drinks and Discussions. We're just talking about the shooting that occurred and how people are so easily manipulated to do dirty work for other people based upon what they've read on social media or whatever. I will also tell you about religion. Again, growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, every religion, including the Flying Spaghetti Monster, will probably point to some passage in that Bible that will prove that the reason they believe what they believe is accurate. Every religion. That is why there's Pentecostal, Baptist, Catholicism, other forms of Christianity that are out there, and every one of them has Bible verses that they believe supports their religion. That is how vague the Bible is written, folks. The Bible is written that way in order to support any thought, religious thought. It's there to support you. Do the walk of shame, Brian. I did the walk of shame when I left the Jehovah's Witnesses for sure. I sure did. All the fornicating I was doing back then, I don't know.
Oh, man.
I'm kidding. I'm still...
So I'm curious, when you walk away from Jehovah's Witness, are you ostracized?
Oh,
from your
absolutely.
family?
Oh, my God.
Gotcha.
So, wait, hold on. There are 2 ways you can walk away. One is you can be ostracized or disfellowshipped. If you're disfellowshipped, that means you are no longer able to associate with Jehovah's Witnesses. You've done something wrong. You're not fit to socialize with them. And even your own parents will, because I was disfellowshipped for a while, still living in my mom and dad's house. This is how stupid they are. When I was disfellowshipped, I was a teenager. I could not eat.
How old were you?
I was 18 or 19.
Okay.
I was not able to eat dinner with my mom and dad and family, my brothers and sisters. They would eat dinner, and then I would have to go in and eat dinner after they left. I couldn't watch TV with them. I had to watch TV in my room, stay in my room. my mom and dad wouldn't even talk to me in the house. That's how stupid that religion is. And that's the first.
That is
Ridiculous.
sorry. Go ahead.
And I've actually joined on Facebook. I joined a couple of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and you'll hear these stories throughout that whole thread. I stopped because I don't care what religion it is you are. Once you get out of the religion, it can really do a mind fuck on you. And there are a lot of crazy people, even though they left Jehovah's Witnesses. I keep saying you might want to go back because you're crazy as fuck right now. So you need something in your life. Something they did a mind job on you. But L. Ron Hubbard that's Scientology. No, L. Ron Hubbard is the Mormons, isn't it? Isn't he L. Ron Hubbard, the Mormons?
I think so. He's a guy with like 30,000 kids.
Yeah. Jehovah's
Go
Witnesses.
be Mormon.
Charles
I could
Russell.
do 10 wives.
Charles Taze Russell started Jehovah's Witnesses.
Isn't that called polyamory?
Yeah, polyamorous. Yeah.
But the second way to walk away from Jehovah's Witnesses is just to walk away. You just inactive. They call you inactive. But I forgot about the third one. The third one is you walk away and you start talking crap about Jehovah's Witnesses, and that's when they call you an apostate. If you're an apostate, you are excommunicado. I mean, they are afraid of you because you've educated yourself, such as myself, on all of the different variations of the Bible and the religion and how stupid the Jehovah's Witnesses religion really is. It makes absolutely zero sense. And if you do that, then you challenge them, then they don't no. If you challenge them in their line of thinking, you're an apostate. Don't talk to me. You're out. You're worse than a disfellowship person because you're trying to challenge their beliefs.
Honestly, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just had something funny. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say that when I hear that, I know you're laughing about it and joking, but that breaks my heart. Like to hear you say that, to hear you say you weren't allowed to eat dinner with your family or watch TV. I mean, man, that is disheartening. Like, that would shatter my soul. Even as a man being 18, 19, well, I still consider that a kid, but, you know, that's soul shattering, you know, that's your mom and dad and not being able to, you know, eat dinner with them or associate or talk to them. So, I wanted to know, and Brian, if you want to say, or Marcus, I'm sorry, want to say what you want to say, but what I wanted to know was, you said you weren't anymore, so, you know, how did you come back from being whatever you said that first term was of, you know, not being able to disparaged or whatever it is? You know, how are you not disparaged anymore? How did that go about? You just ended up leaving the house, or?
No. So, Marcus, you had a comment first before I go into that?
No, I was just making it funny.
Make it funny. Make it funny.
Yeah, make it. I'm ready. I miss your funny
No,
jokes.
I'll say you call it a apostate. It sounded like a cross between an apostle and a prostate.
That's probably where they got it. They're like, this guy's an
apostle up your ass. This apostle is up my ass. What's going on here? and so, correct. I am correct that L. Ron Hubbard was the Scientology. He started Scientology, not the Mormons. It was that Joseph Smith that did the Mormons and Latter-day Saints or something like that, yeah. Liz is saying that one of the things for Baptists, they might strip a person of church membership for child abuse, except for they were always welcomed in the church. So Jehovah's Witnesses are just very strict. You can't, and again, I've said this before, but with all three of us, and Marcus and I went to junior high school. That's how we ended up meeting. And there are a lot of events and things that I could not participate in because I just was a Jehovah's Witness. I was not allowed to socialize with anyone other than other Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that you are going to be brainwashed by associating with anybody else outside of Jehovah's Witnesses. And I got baptized. You can only be disfellowshipped from the Jehovah's Witnesses if you're baptized, meaning you devote your life to being a witness. I got baptized because the girl at the time thought I was in love with, from elementary school all the way through high school, I thought I was going to marry this person. and she got
He was a
baptized.
Jehovah's Witness.
She was a Jehovah's Witness. She got baptized. And I knew her mom and dad, and I knew, shoot, they ain't gonna let this non-baptized guy date their daughter. Shoot, I gone and got baptized. Little did I know, I was gonna move to St. Louis. She was gonna end up dating somebody else, and I was screwed. So I got back after I was disfellowshipped. Because I didn't get this fellowship because of her. I got this fellowship because I started dating someone else, and they found out that I was fornicating, having sex before marriage. And so when I had sex before marriage, they said, you know, you're not supposed to do that. You're out. I worked my way back in because, again, I was still living at home at the time. I didn't want to be treated this way, and I thought that the only way I could get back in social graces with my own family was to keep going back to the Kingdom Hall in order for my parents to like me. So I did that, and then at the end of the day, my mom still didn't like me. So I said to myself, I don't believe what they believe. I don't believe in anything that they stand for. And so I left home, and I left Jehovah's Witnesses, and I never looked back.
Wow. That's crazy. That's super sad, and that's crazy.
Yeah,
That's just super unfortunate.
And by the way, Liz is actually giving me an experience here. She says she took cupcakes to her grade school class for her son's birthday, and one little girl said she couldn't take a cupcake because she was Jehovah's Witness. That's the brainwashing that they do. It's not like you're, you know, I don't know, celebrating someone else's birthday or participating in eating a cupcake is somehow wrong for you to do. Because Jehovah's Witnesses don't celebrate birthdays. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Dumb. Makes no sense. No Christmas,
Wow.
no Mother's Day, no Father's Day, no any day.
So now, when you talked about being baptized, you're talking about being baptized in the Jehovah's Witness. Okay.
It's
Do they
same.
like baptize you? Like,
Yeah,
in the water?
yeah.
Yep.
Not in the Lake Minnetonka, but it was we had a convention, and they had like a
Little pool.
indoor pool thing area where they dip you in the water and you get out.
Yeah, that's just, that irks me so bad because, not to go off the deep end too much, but when all the people talk about, right and wrong or doing things so that they go to heaven, FYI, even in the Bible, it doesn't say you go to heaven or hell when you die. It says you'll go to heaven or hell when the rapture happens. And even then, you get a second chance when the rapture happens. You get I think it's 7 years on earth to live hell on earth. And then if you've repented and accepted God after that 7 years, then you get to go up to heaven. So, I mean, shit, I'm pretty sure you get risen up from the ground as a zombie and you're like, oh shit, this is real. You're definitely going to do everything you can to be able to go to heaven. I just think it's so silly.
I've been waiting
After
on
being raised in a church, by the way.
I've been waiting on the rapture since Anita Baker. I was wondering if you guys gonna get it.
Yeah, there.
I was trying to be like Marcus with a dad joke there.
That was good. That was good.
And see, Alan, I was wondering if you got my joke too when I said the waters of Lake Minnetonka. Yes, I remember I did do that. Yes. That's a little Prince reference for you. Purple Rain, Lake Minnetonka. I will tell you, I could call on forever about the mind-numbing stories of being a Jehovah's Witness, but I don't want to bore everyone tonight on this thing. I want to get back on something that Trey was talking about, is the manipulation that people go through. So what you've missed since in your absence is that there was this little Troy Verner looking dude on social media that had a beef with one of the podcasts. I think you've seen the guys who go in and they start looking at these First Amendment auditors and they dissect them and they start making fun of them and saying, these First Amendment auditors don't know what they're doing, they're stupid, whatever. So one of these guys invited me on one of this First Amendment. It talked about the FOIA Act, and he invited me on. I started talking to him, got cut off, and so he had another guy come on, and I got invited to this podcast, and this guy was throwing insults at me, racial insults. I don't even know this guy.
Nice.
So long story short, there became this internet beef where he started doxing everybody that was on his channel, looking up information, trying to find out where I lived. Because you go on our podcast, I say my first and last name, telling them that I was uncorked. Easy information if you really want to go and find something. Look, again, I'm not hiding from anybody, but he started doing that not only to me, but to other people, dude, other people. Now, here's the clitcher. This is why I'm bringing this up, folks. I'm not trying to bring this up to our channel because I know we're all trying to escape that nonsense. The guy is a felon. He was on a local news station. And yes, that was Clipboard Boy, that I was on his stream list. So he was on the news because he was going through this custody battle and he threatened to blow up the courthouse, the district attorney's office, called the district attorney or the attorney for the other side a in-lover, and made all these different threats, started chain calling and prank calling, all these different things. They ended up, couldn't find him. He moved to Vegas. The FBI found this guy and he wouldn't come out. So they sent the SWAT team in after him to pull him out of his house. Now, tell me, this guy, easily verifiable that this is a local news story. It's still out there. Why do people follow this guy to where there was one of his followers went to this other guy's apartment complex and tried to knock on the door, find out where he actually lived, and was doing the dirty work for this little bitty, small-minded, small-statured individual. And he brags about his record. Oh, yeah, I'm a criminal. I was doing this and all that kind of stuff. That is the reason why we are in a society in which we are in. People like that still have people who have no reason to even be in society. They don't contribute to society. But they impact people who are... There are two people I see on his channel. One who's like Jeremy Irving. He actually just likes to stir the pot. He's not on either side. He's just like, hey, I'm here, got nothing better to do in my life. I'm just going to sit here and watch the entertainment. But then you get other people who believe every word that this guy spits out. Every word. And they are willing to do the Batman for this guy. And that's what I was bringing up this point, is because you do have people who've never met this guy, never even are friends with this guy, won't ever meet this guy, but are willing to go to battle for this guy. Makes no sense to me.
Billy, I honestly wish I could have been there with you, because I remember I watched a little bit of you with the car guy, and I mean, that was the most brain cell losing panel I've ever listened to. I think I listened to it for about 10 minutes, and the amount of things that were being said, the talking over each other, then insulting each other, I was like, wow, these guys look old as shit and can't carry on an educated conversation with someone who has a difference of opinion.
It got to the point. It got to the point where then a lot of other people started joining the channel, and it just became saturated, and to the point where it's just become like, at the end of the day, the other guy's channel got shut down, and at the end, when that was done, I was kind of like, okay, what else is there? And it just become more and more and more things. But the guy, to everybody else's credit, he still hasn't stopped. Without a channel, he's still emailing people and trying to still fight on his way, to oblivion. But I just never understand that line of thinking either, where you always have to be talking, where you don't sit there and listen, and then not just be ready for a response, but actually listen to what that person is saying, and then come back with your response after you breathe a little bit. But all that on top of each other stuff too is just not my style either.
Silliness. That's and it's crazy that doxing's still not illegal, because who knows? Maybe he doxes one of you guys, and there's someone on there that's like, that Brian guy, I hate that guy. You have a wife and children. That's just ridiculous that that's still not illegal.
I agree. I didn't even. This is how stupid I am. I haven't been in social media forever. Um, until we started doing the podcast, I didn't even know what doxing was. I had
Mm.
no idea.
I didn't know what it was either.
It
In my
was.
cybersecurity course, we're teaching all about it right now, how to do social engineering. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but all kinds of cool stuff. So,
Well,
everyone watch out! You make me mad. I'll find
listen,
everything out about you.
Trey going to school and act like he's the only person that knows something now. Ain't that some bullcorn? You hear Marcus? You see what they trying to do over there?
I am above you, gentlemen. Now,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
Teach me the ways of the Force, young Skywalker.
and by the way, guys, he was talking about Joe Cool that was in the car. The guy we were just talking about over each other and screaming. He was talking about, he saw that particular episode, I believe. You were talking about the black guy in the car?
Unprofessional. Yes.
Yes, that was Joe Cool.
Super unprofessional. I was like, I thought this was a professional show. I'm turning this off, man.
And you know what? That was the first time and probably the only time I simul streamed that live stream on ours. It wasn't like we were live. I just put it in here and just simul streamed it to, see if I would actually, our viewers would like it. But it didn't go very well, and it was the last time I think I did it that way.
So I know we've divulged a little bit, but I kind of want to get like your ending thoughts on why do you guys think mass shootings are happens? Because I know you probably have amassed a new community since I've been gone. For those of you who don't know, I was here for about 20 episodes, I think.
22.
I don't know, 22 episodes. And then I started school because it was on this day. But now it's not on this day, so I may be back here if, Brian or Marcus allow me. But, God, I lost my train of thought. What was I asking about the closing thoughts on
Mass shootings,
right?
Mass shootings.
All right, on the mass shootings. Do you, because I saw things were trending. As you know, I do, I'm an independent, but I do lean a little bit more to the right. So I love my guns. I love my freedom. That's why I like that freedom fighter that's in there. I love his name. So what do you think is the solution to continue to stop this? Do you think, because there will never be a taking everyone's gun thing. So that theory could just always be thrown out of the door because it'll never happen. So how do you think we stop these situations?
Marcus, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I don't know because I don't. I just don't think you can account for the human mind, the human brain. You just don't know what, because it's not the guns. It sounds, I'm going to say a cliche here, but it's not the guns that are killing people. It's the person handling that gun, that weapon. So I don't know. I don't know how you. That's I don't know. I don't know how you can account for the human brain.
Can I preempt my comment by saying one thing? If they take away abortion's rights, they're going to take away your gun rights. But that's a topic for another time. I'm gonna take it. I wish people would fight for. I wish people would fight for rights of all people just as much as they fight for the gun rights. I wish they would fight the exact same way.
I wish I would have joined that podcast because I would have crispy fried burned you, brother. I would have crispy fried burned you last week.
Stop it. Anyway, so here's what I would have to say about this. I think what Liz says is also what I'm going to say. You just don't know. And even Chris Octor is saying the same thing. There's no solution without going to the absolute extreme. But here's what I can tell you. I think a lot of the mass shootings could stop by, and Trey and I have a difference of opinion too when it comes to like poverty and welfare and all that kind of stuff. I still believe that there is an educational travesty going on in our society. I think the poor neighborhoods and the poor areas are in desperate need of education. If you educate people in a method, in a manner in which they are able to think, not necessarily what is being fed to them, but outside of the box, deductive reasoning, how to get to a solution after going through a series of steps is a process, I think, that can help get us to not eliminating mass shootings, but you can bring that number down. Because if you know how to handle situations and types of situations without going all the way to the extreme as your first step in that solution, I think you can actually get to the root cause of why these mass shootings are happening. You don't have to take guns away, but I'd like to see people putting books in people's hands and having people in the classroom that actually give a damn about whether a student is actually paying attention or not, and not just casting them aside and saying they're unteachable, or seeing signs and ignoring those signs. I think a lot of people have this mentality of not my problem, not my business type of mentality, where we grew up in Trey, you've heard this as well. It takes a village to raise a person, raise a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Get back to that mentality, and everybody is on the watch out for everybody else's kid. I think you're in the right direction.
100%. I don't have an answer to what would fix it, right? Besides what they were saying in there, going to an extreme. I agree with Chris, because I understand what you're saying, take away the abortion rights, take away your gun rights, but I mean, that'll just never happen, ever. You'll have people that'll stand together, and I mean, it would cause civil war.
Absolutely.
110%.
Absolutely. But you get similar what you're getting right now in people who are more advocates of, pro-choice than they are pro-life. People don't want that. They don't. I mean, the government should rule in favor of the people. So whatever the majority says is what they should be actually going to go by. But again, this is not the podcast for that. But there are educated white people out there who do some really vile things as well. I'm not blaming education as the end all or result all. But I think if you look at it statistically, I think that a lot of the mass shootings and stuff like that, and there's some last mass murderers. Jeffrey Dahmer was supposed to be an intelligent individual, but I think that's not the norm. I think that's not par for the course when it comes to these types of heinous acts.
Agree, 100%.
What's your solution, Trey?
Me?
Yeah, we went around the horn.
Like I said, I don't have one. I honestly don't know what to do. If you were to put me in a position of power and be like, you have the power to do whatever you want right now, how do you do it? I mean, there's just so many. Everything is a double-edged sword. What do you do? Invade everyone's privacy even more? Do you always look at what people are looking at on the internet? Do you have tighter gun control? Do you put cameras everywhere?
Here's one for you.
Good.
Tongue in cheek. Trust me, guys. This is tongue in cheek. What if you give a test? Your doctor says, okay, you're pregnant. But hold on. There's more. You have to take this test. And if it reveals that you're a racist piece of shit, you're going straight through the abortion line. You are not equipped to have this baby. You're out of there. Sorry. You're done. That's it.
Oh, my gosh.
That'll teach them. That'll teach them, folks. Just saying. That's when the abortion rule, that's when you got that abortion right there legal, that's when it actually makes a difference, folks. It's called cleansing.
Oh. Jeez. Yeah, so I don't know. Marcus, do you have a solution?
No, because like I was saying earlier, you can't account for the mind. You can put all these laws or controls in place, but you just can't account for the human brain.
No. People snap like this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You snap. Every one of us, everyone on this podcast, on this live stream, at some point in time, we regretted it, but we've snapped.
No, never. I'm perfect.
Mm-hmm. I can tell by their haircut.
It's never happened, ever.
Okay, so I want to talk about something lighter before we end the podcast. We appreciate everybody joining. This is Drinks and Discussion. Marcus, Trey is back in the building, and me, Brian. We're sitting here. We're talking about a lot of things, but I want to close with something because this just happened to me today, and I want to know what you guys think. I love my wife dearly, so I'm not going to put her out here in Front Street, but long story short, it was a long night last night. And we woke up and I was butt tired. She was butt tired. And I had to work today. I had to go to TK's to help them set up some stuff too. And so I didn't want to cook. My wife didn't want to cook. So what do? We decided, hey, we want some Mexican food. So I don't like doing DoorDash because I think that's just, the epidemic is over. Either you go to the restaurant and give the people there their tips and support the local business, or you're supporting a bigger, larger conglomerate. I'd rather support my local business. So I went to the local restaurant and to pick up the food. Sitting at the bar, and here's where it comes to where I want your guys' opinion. Sitting at the bar and made my order, got me some chips, salsa, got me a beer. Sitting there watching, they're getting ready to do the PGA championship, watching Tigers getting ready to perform, practicing. Next thing you know, I look by the bottles of alcohol, and they have glasses there, and I see this bug walking across the crack of that little bar area. And I'm looking really intently, and I'm going, is that a roach? Or what is it? So, look, it's in social media age. What is the first thing you do? Bring out the phone. I zoom in, and I'm trying to zoom in as close as I can to see what kind of bug this was. I'm sorry, I said epidemic. I didn't mean epidemic. It's a pandemic, but whatever. I still wanted to go to the local restaurant. So I couldn't tell if this was a roach or not, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm going to feed my wife and my son this food. And if there's a roach in the front of the house, guarantee you there's a roach in the back of the house. So what do you do in that situation? You're hungry. You're not going to go home and eat. Do you say, hey, I see a bug. I'm not going to, purchase anything in here, cancel my order? I didn't pay for it yet. So I could have easily just walked out and said, no thanks. What do you do? What's etiquette here? What's the best thing? I sent my wife the message, the video, and I said, to be fair, I still couldn't tell if it was a cricket or a roach.
Does it matter?
Well, crickets are like in Texas. If you get a cricket in the door, they can go anywhere, and they have a patio and all that kind of stuff. So I'm assuming crickets get in there.
What restaurant was this?
It was Luna's at Ralph at 380.
There's a lot of woods.
Yeah,
it's just a
little
bug,
things.
man.
That's what I thought. I thought
there's
it was a
way
bug.
more nastier stuff you got to worry about than a bug crawling on the ground than, someone preparing your food back there. No gloves, sneezing, coughing. You think about it too much, you'll drive yourself insane.
If they came over the border legally.
What about a rat? What if you see a rat?
Oh, that's over.
If I see a rat, I'm out of there.
I'm out of there. Yeah,
I'm reporting them.
Yeah,
and they're getting shut down.
Mm-hmm.
I've had that happen.
See you later, alligator.
Yeah, listen, I think you've never ate. I think you'd never eat in Texas if you practice board avoidance. Yeah, if you've been in Texas, there's been a fly or a gnat or something that's been hovering around your food at some point in time in your life. Yeah. That's protein. Mm-hmm. What's the movie Waiting? I've never seen that movie Waiting.
Yeah, I've never seen that either.
Never heard about it. But anyway, that's almost 2 hours in, folks. 2 hours in. That was a good podcast, guys. Trey, we hope to see you more of a regular again on Tuesdays. A lot more to talk about because I can't wait to hear you, eat crow when the Mavericks lose the first game because they're not going to win 5 in a row for sure.
Silly.
Listen, I'm just being devil's advocate when it comes to your pick. That's it, because you know I'm a homer.
Brother, you
I'm
gotta
going for the
listen.
Mavericks.
In my eyes, I want us to 4-0 'em. I want us to sweep them. But I will say this: whoever wins this game is winning the championship. 110%.
I agree with you 100%. Whoever
Celtics
comes
or
out of
Heat,
us.
get out of here, dude. Get out. No.
I will tell you this. I would be more nervous if the Celtics play Golden State because I think the Celtics play more of a physical style. But I think we would match up with the Celtics better because I think we are capable of playing that physical style of ball.
Yeah.
The Mavericks are actually playing kind of an East Coast type of style of play.
Yeah. Hey, Sunday I will be at the Green Gator in Frisco. If you two would like to join me,
Sunday.
watching the game, right off Main Street in Dallas North Tollway.
I know where that is. The Green Gator. I know where that is.
Oh, right there.
It's across the street from Tuck Golf.
No.
Oh, the Green Gator. It's across the street from behind the stadium, the soccer stadium.
Right.
Yeah,
You were
I got
thinking
you.
of the Drunken Donkey.
Donkey. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know exactly where you're at.
But I'll be there. That'll be game 3. That'll be our first home game. So we'll be able to talk about
What time is
where
game?
we at.
What time is the game on Sunday?
Well, since it's playing a West Coast team, I think it's a late game.
It's not an afternoon game? Because
No.
they're not playing in the afternoons, like early afternoons? Are they all
They're
prime
going to
time?
hit us with all these. We're going to have all these
Late
night
times. Be good to compensate. So, damn.
9 o'clock?
The Sunday game starts at 8 p.m.
Oh, I'll take that versus 9 or 9:30.
Yeah. So 8 o'clock, but I'll be there. I'll be at the Green
I
Gator
could-
at 8 o'clock having fun.
I could probably swing like the first half. I don't know if I could stay the whole game, but
Right.
we got a full slate
Right.
this weekend. But listen, look. How many times, Trey, have I called you and Marcus too? Because Marcus,
Once.
I ain't gonna try to get Marcus out of here.
Once.
No, stop. I called you all the
Once.
time. Hey man, where you at? Oh man, I can't do it tonight. The last 2 times you said you had girls. The girls. The last 2.
Yeah, you call me when I have my children.
No, I'm not blaming you for it. I'm just saying those are the last 2 times. But I've said it before, and you were like, "Oh no, my foot hurts." And then the next thing you said, one day you said, "Remember Marcus when you say his foot was hurt?" Marcus knew about the foot. Marcus knows about the foot hurting.
Yeah, I sent y'all a picture of it.
I don't want to keep everybody else in the chat. Let's go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead. What you want to have some last words here before we have to say goodnight?
I'm gonna just try to make you gentlemen laugh real quick. What does
Nice.
what does a what does a baby computer call his father?
Mac Daddy.
Data.
Oh, Dad.
Ah,
I thought I like
good one.
I like the
I
Mac
got one more.
Daddy better.
The back. Oh yeah, I get that. I can see that. I might have to use that one too. So I seem to always get sick on the weekdays. That must mean I have a weekend immune system.
A weekend, got it. A weekend
Yeah.
immune system. Let me tell you something. We're gonna do these with water in our mouths and see who spits it out. Silly Wabbit, we appreciate you joining us, man. We always appreciate you guys. Again, we talk about some of the randomest things. Some of the topics we get a little bit on the heavier subject matters, but no matter what your opinion is, we want you guys to always kind of come in here and feel like you can at least voice your opinions, no matter what it is. We're not here to argue with you. We're just here to, get different perspectives because we don't think we're always right. We're not professionals or by any stretch of the imagination, but we just want to make sure that we have an opportunity throughout the week just to talk about things that are going on. And I think this is the best way to do it. Trey, what do you want to say, dude? What you got?
Well, hopefully, we'll see you guys next week. I only have school Monday, Wednesday, Thursday now. So instead of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So hopefully I'll see you all again. Can't wait to go on with some more topics, some spicy stuff, and as you guys will learn, I like to stir the pot a little bit and butt heads with Brian. So, because he's a little soft Democrat over there, so he's got a little bit of soft
It's a real
side to
thing.
him.
It's a real thing, folks. It's a real thing.
First of all, I've always told everyone I am not a Democrat. I am not a Republican. I'm straight and down the middle. I believe that both sides have a lot to offer. Our great government and our great country. I just hate to see the division. I hate when see people try to tear the very fabric that makes us great into two parts. And
Yes.
the bickering, if you don't like to see bickering on live streams, you should not want to see the bickering in your government as well. So that's where I'm at. I am a grown up. I like to see the people who are older than me and more experienced than me acting and behaving better than me. So that's where I'm at. But me and Trey do like to kind of go back and forth on some of the topics, and hopefully we'll have more of that to come because I think it is great, and if you want to see Marcus laugh more, if Trey's here, Marcus laughs more. That's for damn sure. I want to thank every one of you guys. I know you don't have to come here. This is not a live stream that's making fun of anybody or trying to push an agenda or a train of thought to anyone. This is just a free space to come here, to have a couple of drinks, enjoy the discussion. Even if you don't agree with some of the things that we say or talk about, you're free to bring your own perspective. And that's what we really try to push everyone to do, is just to come in with an open mind or bring your own ideas. And we'd love to have them shared here. If you want to join us, let us know. We'd love to invite you to the Discord channel. We'll be more than happy to bring you on. You don't have to see our faces out when Trey will be proven wrong and his predictions because by the time we get to next Tuesday, there will be three games have been played. So we'll have a pretty good idea of whether or not Trey's prediction is going to become the trend.
Actually, that Tuesday, the game will be going on.
Oh, we have a game on Tuesday.
Yeah, because they travel, and it's the Sunday game, which is first home game, and then they'll miss Monday, and then the second home game for the Mavs will be on Tuesday.
Maybe we should try to do it at the Comedy Club next Tuesday and have it on the big screen in the showroom or something like that, or downstairs in the Speakeasy. And they have a projector now, and maybe we can do something like that, or we can have it somewhere. Yeah. We can figure out a place to do it.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it was always great. I want to say goodnight to everybody and see you again next time on Drinks.